today we are going to talk about Judy's outcome and experience during the 1 month Up-Level Your Self-Love healing journey that we did together. And I really would love to share with you guys and, so you can hear what it could be like going through that 1 month experience with me. Okay, question number one is, how was life before we actually started working? Can you remember and describe sort of in a little way, short way, what you were going through?
Oh, it feels like a long time ago now. Really, I would encapsulate it by saying I had done so much self-work, you name it, I'd done it. And I'd made quite a bit of progress, but it felt like I just wasn't getting traction in certain things. And it felt like I was just in a cycle of going around and around. And I really strengthened my spiritual connection. And I had, a lot of trust, a lot of faith, but I just wasn't making some of the shifts I wanted to. And so even though I felt all this trust and faith, there was still a sense of hopelessness behind it that would still take me out from time to time.
And was there a certain outcome that you were looking for, like, or maybe an area in your life that you wanted to work with or, overcome?
Oh, there were, I suppose I would say everything really. A couple of areas I had made more progress in, but there were sticking points in my work life, big sticking points in my love life, and when it came to how I manage myself, oh yeah, very much on a merry-go-round with certain patterns. And as for abundance, that just seems like something for everybody else, not for me.
Right. Okay. What were you ready to let go of, like specifically? Did you have certain like beliefs or emotions? You say, "Oh, I wished I wouldn't have that." Sort of. Did you have something like that that you just felt, "That's it. I'm gonna let that go now"?
Actually, that was exactly it. I could recognize I was stuck, but I wanted to make progress without having to let go of anything. I'd let go of a lot, but the things like frustration, I was like a dog with a bone with the frustration, and I didn't want to let go of the frustration. I wanted an outside solution, so that I didn't have to let go of the frustration. That was like a teddy bear for me, certain things. So I would say there were things I intellectually knew I should let go of, but I didn't want to let them go.
Right.
Really.
Yes. And did you have a vision of how you would like your life to be, or was that even not on the horizon?
I had quite an indistinct vision that I've revisited from time to time. But I found it felt like, it felt like castles in the sky a little bit. It felt like, they were just really nice images, but they didn't feel like they could really root down into my life. And I just felt like I was going round and round doing all this personal growth work, and it was just not happening. Or I was making small changes here and there, and it felt like this never-ending road, heal, 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 heal. When will I ever get there? So much frustration and just fatigue and just feeling like, I've done all this personal growth work, and my spirituality is so big in my life, and I'm just not moving forward. It's like all these other people seem to be able to make these big changes. Like, what do I have to do to get that? I don't know. So yeah, the vision just felt really far away. Oh, even if I could really connect to it from time to time, it was very fleeting.
So what would you say did you actually take away? What was the most amazing shift that you experienced?
One that was very unexpected, which was the understanding and realization of how much certain cords to past lives were keeping me stuck. So that no matter how much I practiced my spirituality and practiced filling up the spirit and filling my own cup, it was just draining out of me. And it was like a leaky bucket that could just never fill. And so, in the work that we did together, finally actually identifying that and closing the door in a moment, which I had never realized was possible, has been the most remarkable and impactful change for me. Because even for a few days after we did that, I could feel my consciousness moving around, and the particular spot was in my tummy, and it kept on completely unprompted, finding that little spot and realizing that it was closed. And I realized how much that had been going on unconsciously, constantly. So I learned that. But something else that came out of it was that what was, again, so impactful and powerful was that, you know, I had this belief that the healing would take a long time, and it was taking a long time, and whatever shifts had to be made were also going to take a long time. And, you know, with your guidance and support, that change happened in a moment, you know, through, you know, a growth in my faith and confidence in the process with you. And it was able to shift in a moment. And so I've realized now that even having that belief that the healing is going to take a long time was making it take a long time. And then actually finding, you know, guidance where it clicked for me, you know, with somebody who knew the way. And no matter what I brought, no matter what I threw up, it was all okay. It was all contained, and we're still able to go forward, you know, with somebody, you know, who was like holding a lamp, who found the way. That was just, can I swear? I won't swear. It was just spectacular and just very, very impactful, because now the domino effect from that is that when I fill up, I'm filling here with 2 feet on the ground in this lifetime, and it feels like something else is complete and I'm available, I'm fully here. And so it's allowing me to access more resources and recruit them to take forward what I want. And yeah, that has been really something.
That's amazing. And can you tell me, what do you do differently because of that? So you said you are available to your own life now. And have you noticed that you're doing certain things differently?
You know, the most crucial part of it has been my attention, because there were certain areas where my attention was constantly leaking off to various things. You know, unconsciously and consciously, it was difficult for me to hold my attention on, you know, what I wanted. And that had all kinds of tangible repercussions, like my ability to focus at work and, you know, to manage my time, even to like leave work on time. And so closing that portal for me, which was just remarkable, and then all the soul work and the inner child work that we did after that has, you know, mostly been allowing me to harness my attention to then be able to direct it to what I want. That has been the most crucial thing, because that is really my control over myself and all of my resources is my attention. So that has been that's tangible in that. You know, for example, I can manage my focus at work, I can manage my attention, and I can then manage my time, and I can leave work on time, which has all sorts of domino effects. You know, to be able to, you know, then make plans for my evening and then carry out the plans for my evening.
Your self-care went out the window all the time, yeah? And now you
all
feel
the time.
Yeah,
and with all that, like, you know, like frustration at work and so on and so forth. So actually, you know, the root of it really is my my access to actually inhabit my being in my body, and be able to stick to the choices that I want to make, rather than having all my energy drain out constantly, and yeah, and not be able to move along the path I want.
Yeah, I remember you said once that column of light that you are in is much stronger now, isn't it? You felt like rooted in that much more than before.
Well, that you know, you asked me a while ago, like, what did I want to let go of? And there were things I didn't want to let go of. And then, you know, in the process over the month, you know, when we did some of the, you know, the soul work and the inner child work, you know, I was able to finally get to the point of being able to let go of the things that were really keeping me in a certain way of operating. But it was like, you know, it's like going up steps. Like, you know, the first step was closing for me, you know, it was closing like the past life door, and then this, and all of those like allowed, you know, they built on each other to be able to really step into this this space, this time, this body, and be here, and then have everything be more effective, you know, in that, you know, I am there, you know, actually doing it, rather than just the constant train, but also just I think another thing I hadn't really realized, I just now sort of realized, was being able to let go of certain things in the past with more peace, and really realizing that I had been living life through the lens of the past, past pain that hadn't been resolved, or I'd done so much to resolve it, but there was still, like the final pieces I hadn't put together. And so having all of that context and perspective has just been remarkable. So it's finally closing doors. And, without having realized before, like how much they were draining. And I was spinning my wheels. I couldn't move forward because there was all this stuff just draining. So, all of those together have been like, wrapping up bows, but and doing so with peace is it's very impactful.
That was powerful. I remember. Yes.
Yeah.
So what value would you put on this month of healing together? If you could put a value on it, what would be the description of it? Say, like when people ask for outcome, and what do I get out of it?
That one is very interesting. Feeling complete with the past, feeling a sense of completion, being available for my own life where I never have before, and being able to understand why so many things have happened the way they did, to be able to let them go and no longer carry that burden. Well, those are priceless. Being available for my life going forward, even more priceless. But being available to go forward in my life, harvesting, because what we did along the way was harvest the lessons, harvest even more wisdom, harvesting the wisdom, so that in starting again, I'm not starting like a newborn baby, but it's with all the positive learning. Well, yeah, can't put a price on that. So making tangible changes going forward, it's the satisfaction and the achievement and the joy of actually getting the traction.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you. Like, how do you feel now, at the end of this? Like, so you have the joy, you have the satisfaction.
For example, like one thing, well, I also, it's a bad habit, and I had all sorts of internal judgments about it, was I used to make lots of plans for myself and my life that I wouldn't show up for, because I was always too tired. I didn't really want to commit to it, and it sounded nice, and it was a good idea, but I'd rather just stay at home and do such and such and such and such. And I would let my work day go on, and then just blame work for not being able to move forward with my life. And of course it all comes down to me. But one of the most beautiful things about it is, like, over the last, probably 6 weeks since we started working together, is that I've, been able to continue making plans and showing up and having beautiful experiences, expanding my social circle, increasing opportunities to meet people, leaving work on time. Everything at work is going more smoothly, because we did some very pivotal work around a painful block I had around my work life. So the work life is going more easily, and everything is just smoother. So it's not just traction, like grit and determination. There's much more flow, and I have a sense of flow, and being in alignment with myself, that is lovely to experience. So it feels like there's been a real shift from having the positive feelings of a happiness, joy, satisfaction kind of like blink in and out. Those are like, it feels like the dial has got up much higher, like 80% right now, I'd say. And so the old is on its way out, but that one is kind of like, it's blinking on and off, but blinking out and becoming less frequent and less intense. So that process is coming along very nicely, and that is very satisfying. Very satisfying.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So who would you, if you would recommend this 1 month healing journey, who would you recommend it to? What do the people need to bring?
I think when I look back, I'd say the spiritual element of the journey is very useful. For the particular blocks that have shifted for me, I would recommend this to people who've been on the spiritual path. It feels like it's taken forever. It feels like the healing journey is taking forever, and there's been some progress, but just not the big not the big shifts that you want. And you might even have a process for working through things, but it's only getting you so far. You're like, where's my breakthrough? Where's my big breakthrough? When you open to the guidance and open to things happening quickly for you, it totally can.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're open to that, just to the possibility that it can be quick, and you allow the universe to give you guidance in 3D form, is there.
Great, yes.
Right here.
And what would you say is the differentiator, because you said you've done lots and lots of other healing work. What was different?
A couple of things. I feel I hadn't really realized how the past life connection or the drains for me were really impacting things. So that was one. The guidance and context to go through the soul element for me to shed light, that was very, very impactful. The inner child work that came up from time to time, that went deep enough, finally, that was very impactful. But there were a couple of other things, like in the dynamics of working together. No matter what I brought, no matter how dark, no matter how much negativity or frustration there was, you're able to contain that and continually move forward in the moment, in a way that just always, brought out what needed to come out, to bring about the sense of completion. But even up to now, like that little portal in my solar plexus, I know that's closed. It doesn't even bother me anymore. It's totally closed. So seeing also that the shifts stick has been phenomenal. The other one was the realization that the shifts could be so fast, like in the moment, in a session. I had always been closed-minded about that, and now that I've experienced that, when I open to it with faith, well, that's been a revelation, definitely. That's facilitated some elements of surrender. Surrender for the path to be so long. It's like, no, it doesn't need to be. Willingness to surrender certain things that have been very familiar. That's been helpful.
Yeah, sounds amazing. So I'm really, really happy that you worked with me. It was such a joy. You are such an amazing person to work with. And any final words? Anything that you like taken away that you are now using? Say, if there is anything like that you're like a little gift or a little insight or something that you're now using all the time.
I think there's a few things. So number one was, really the value of guidance, the value of a guide who knows the way. I was spinning my wheels because I was doing it all on my own, and I'd done a lot on my own. But I was only so far, and with you knowing the way forward, that was very gifted. I feel very, very grateful that my intuition just led me to reach out, on one of your posts, even though I had, concerns it wasn't going to be right, and it was just so guided. So I'm supremely grateful for that. Just in the moment, there was always the guidance from you that was always compassionate and loving and respectful and just gentle. It was just always, exactly what it needed to be at the time. But also there was something that came up about the ego and the pain body. That's been very, very useful. That helps me maintain, keep things in perspective when old conditioning comes up. That's been super helpful.
So meaning that you can handle a trigger or emotional upset much better now. Is that what you meant?
Well, it's like when old sort of more disempowered ways of thinking come up, it's easier to just recognize, no, that's just my ego and pain body. That's all it is, and it no longer has control over me. It had gotten quieter and quieter over time, but now it's been fighting for a hold, but it just doesn't have a hold.
Great. That's amazing. That's so important. Yes, yes.
Oh, and that was the other one. Yeah, my belief that that the healing had to take so long. It doesn't have to take long. It just doesn't.
Yeah. It's amazing how quickly the actual brain and the mind shifts as well when it's presented, right? I remember that moment when I just said, well, you can do it right now if you want, up to you.
Exactly. But like with such confidence and conviction, and it's like, there's no pressure. It's like, it's your choice, carry on if you want, and exactly that. And that was I'm very glad that my being decided in that moment to go for it. It's like, oh,
yeah,
finally,
you took the opportunity. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, like I said, it was such a pleasure. It's so beautiful, this journey. And they are all so individual, and things come up that nobody could expect, and it's just, yeah, that's the beauty of it, that it comes unexpected. We don't know, I mean, who knows who's in control? Not we, so often. And it's really being guided. That's my experience from my point of view. It's a lot of it is just guided. I don't know where it comes from. And yeah, and then it goes on, something else comes up.
But that was exactly it, really. It was the fear of the unknown, because my own path had taken me, or my own healing journey had taken me, so far. And I knew I was stuck, but I didn't know where to go. But it was the fear and uncertainty of not knowing what was ahead, or I really didn't know. It was like coming up to the end of the end of a path, and there were just no bricks forward there, and I didn't have the confidence to jump. But I was just like, I just don't know where to go. So finding a guide, who knows the way forward, was so helpful, because then I realized how much I was holding back from trying to move forward out of fear. I just hadn't clocked that at all.
Okay.
I told myself, no, I'm confident, I know what I'm doing, and I've got my spiritual connection, I'm good. No, because that's exactly it. Like, I didn't know what my blocks were. Or I didn't know what else was there that still needed to shift. That was the thing. I'd gone as far as I could go on my own. I probably could have gone further. It might have taken a few more years. But it just sped up so much, with guidance and support.
Okay, that's good to hear. So this is actually what this can do, isn't it? If you sign up for this 1 month container, you have the opportunity to just jumpstart certain things, and you can uproot certain things that you didn't know were there. You become more aware, and you have probably insights that you don't even know that exist. And so basically it's just an acceleration for your healing journey. And it's not to mean that you're not done after that, we can't say that, because we are never done. We are evolving forever. But it's not a jump start, it's a accelerator.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to offer here, just to help you along to, get somewhere faster, because when we are having a mirror, because that's what I am, ultimately, I'm just a mirror, and I'm also shining light with the guidance. And then we find you as a client, you find your way much easier. And I'm just the guide. So, and of course, when you go hiking in the mountains and you've never been there, having a guide is a good idea. It's very similar. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Judy, for coming along and doing this interview. And I wish you an amazing time ahead. And I know you're going to really accelerate what you want to achieve. I can sense it's coming. So
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, it was some moments were very difficult along the way, but it's been so beneficial, so invaluable. Such a pleasure. Yeah, just remarkable. Well, that's the thing, actually. Not many people can render me speechless, but you have done so on a number of occasions.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
you said I'm speechless.
Yeah, several times.
Yeah, so, well, it's amazing. I mean, I love doing that work when it flows along, and of course, people have to be open, and you were always open, and you were available. You were willing to, yes, I'm going to do this.
So grateful.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I know we will see each other, and I just want to close it off now. And thank you so much.
Thank you.